Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Nafisa Latic. Great to have your company. We all know forests are the lungs of our planet. But did you know Western Balkan countries are some of the most forested countries in Europe? Croatia, Slovenia, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina are all forested above the continent's average. But the more the population grows, the more they become vulnerable to illegal deforestation. And some of these countries have become notorious on a European scale for illegal logging. Well, this threatens their survival and also contributes to the climate crisis. Let's take a closer look together. Around 35% of Europe is covered with forests. But in the Western Balkans, that number is slightly higher, reaching up to 41%. The Western Balkans take care of 10.5 million hectares of the world's forests. The highest percentage of forests is in Montenegro at 60%. It is closely followed by Slovenia at 58%. Right behind comes Bosnia and Herzegovina at 57%, followed by Croatia at 44%. The two lowest percentages are in North Macedonia at 33% and Serbia at 25%. Over 90% of the forests regenerate naturally, and they are comprised of mostly beech and oak. As you can see, Serbia is the least forested country among other Balkan states. But that wasn't the case before. The country's woodlands covered about 80% of its territory. But because of wars, construction and illegal logging, it dropped significantly. Reforestation efforts started after the Second World War, and the land that forests cover has gradually increased since then. But Serbia's reforestation is still the weakest in Europe. Well, this led a young man to create his own forest in one of Serbia's remote villages. He says his aim is to leave a legacy that benefits future generations. Katarina Petrovic went to meet him.
In all the corners of Serbia lie treasure troves of natural beauty, its vast forests. Until the mid-19th century, Serbia's woodlands were dense and impenetrable and covered about 80% of its territory. Wars, construction and clearing land for agriculture led to a sharp decline, so by 1939 Serbia's forest cover had dropped to 17%. It was only after World War II that reforestation efforts began. Now, covering only about 36% of the country's territory, this natural wealth is still under siege, facing new threats from a multitude of fronts.
Šume se seku da bi se finansirala javna preduzeća koja imaju prekomerni broj zaposlenih, što je apsurdno.
Deciduous trees like beech dominate about 87% of Serbia's landscape. Oaks, including sessile and Turkey oak, add to the mix. Conifers make up the remaining 13%, with spruce and pine leading. It could be an even richer tapestry of greenery, offering diverse experiences for all. Serbia's forests are being decimated by illegal logging, uncontrolled development, and the increasing threat of trees drying out due to climate change. Pollution and invasive species further degrade these critical ecosystems, jeopardizing a natural paradise on the brink. The statistics paint a grim picture. Thousands of hectares of forest vanish annually. Illegal logging is rampant, especially in the southern regions, while Vojvodina, a region in the northern Serbia known for its fertile plains, remains the country's least forested area. Yet those behind illegal logging continue their activities largely unchecked as culprits evade detection and prosecution.
Do 2005. godine pošumljavalo se i do 10.000 hektara godišnje samo u Srbiji, a u posljednjih 10-15 godina jedva da se pošumi 1500 hektara. I naravno postoje tu neki planovi pošumljavanja, ali se oni uopšte ne realizuju, a zapravo šta je ono što je ključno, planovi seča šuma se realizuju bez pardona.
Apart from copper, Serbia is also a major exporter of wood. But wood doesn't exactly bring in the profits, so Serbia's forests are relentlessly exploited with little to no attempt at sustainable management to secure their future.
Već više od 15 godina ne postoji strategija razvoja šumarstva, niti program razvoja šumarstva. Onda nam je jasno zašto je, stanje u šumarstvu poprilično stihijsko i haotično i zapravo centralni cilj jeste zadovoljiti potrebe tržišta, ali ne nažalost domaćeg tržišta, nego inostranog tržišta.
In the last 5 years, Dragana's movement has filed over 50 inspection reports for negligent forest management. Just this year, they've uncovered 3 instances of illegal logging, submitting inspection reports supported by evidence. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Water Management oversees the country's forests with 2 public enterprises, Serbia Šume and Vojvodina Šume, responsible for forest management. Despite their official mission of sustainable management, privately owned forests lack proper protection.
1.100.000 hektara površine pod šumom je u državnom vlasništvu. 1.500.000 hektara površine pod šumom je u vlasništvu privatnih šumovlasnika. Mi niti imamo mogućnosti, niti smo u skladu sa zakonom obavezni da čuvamo njihove šume. Niti smo mi kao preduzeće vlasni da u njihovo ime odlučujemo šta će oni raditi u svojoj šumi.
Bespravne seče su dodatni problem iz razloga što one izazivaju brojne probleme u lokalnim zajednicama. Uglavnom imamo počinioce koji to rade da bi zadovoljili neke svoje egzistencijalne potrebe i ja bih rekla da je to mnogo manje u odnosu na one bespravne seče koje su organizovane i u kojima je taj koruptivni moment prisutan izuzetno. To su takozvane umrežene ilegalne šumarske aktivnosti gde je potrebno da u toj mreži budu i ljudi iz javnih preduzeća, znači i čuvari prirode, čuvari šuma, ljudi koji su zaduženi za doznačavanje, za transport i tako dalje.
Illegal logging for pellet production is widespread. Less than 10% of biomass is used for biofuel or pellets, leaving 90% unused or burned. This contributes to massive fires in Vojvodina every autumn. I visited a family-owned company which has been in the wood product manufacturing business for the past 20 years.
Zadnje 2 godine su totalno loše. Dosta se uvozilo jeftinog peleta iz Hrvatske, iz Crne Gore. Rat u Ukrajini naravno da je napravio veliki problem. Sljedeći problem je malo nekontrolisana kupovina od tih ljudi koji nemaju ni sertifikate, koji ne sarađuju sa Srbija šumama, koji van kontrole prerađuju tu drvnu masu i prave pelet. Prave doma problem, obaraju nam cenu na tržištu. Pala je cena drveta, pala je cena sirovine, samim tim je pala i cena, kad nešto radiš na divlje, pala je cena i proizvoda, odnosno peleta.
As trees vanish and greenery diminishes, just 150 kilometers away from Belgrade, in a remote village, one young man has dedicated years to his mission, to cultivate a new forest.
Još od detinjstva mi je bilo zanimljivo to kako iz nekog malog semena poraste biljka, pa ona da neki plod ili čak poraste celo drvo, 100-godišnje. Po naselju gdje smo živjeli, odjednom kad komšijama nikne pasulj po dvorištu, znali su da sam ja to bacao, da sam eksperimentisao, uvek mi je to nekako bilo fascinantno. Znači, meni je bila ideja da ja započnem nešto i da dalje ostavim prirodi da radi sama. Generalno, ljudi na selu koriste drvo u ekonomske svrhe, da tako kažemo, to im je neka prilika da dođu do živog novca, pošto uglavnom sve ostalo ne moraju da kupuju zato što proizvode, ali da bi došli do živog novca, najlakši način je prodaja drveta. Ja sam baš hteo kontra. Ljudi su se tu malo čudili zašto sadim neko drveće, što ne posadim voće od kojeg bi mogo da imam neku korist, ili su govorili pa dobro, ti sadiš šumu koja će moći da se seče tek za 70 godina, ti to nećeš doživeti.
To put things into perspective, Serbia needs to afforest 15 times more each year to reach the optimal 41% forest cover by 2050. with less than 25 years left to establish ecosystems on nearly 900,000 hectares. Only around 2,000 hectares are forested annually, a far cry from the required 30,000. This effort requires approximately 2.2 billion euros in funding.
Treba imati u vidu da za tu šumovitost, nekad šumovitost ne može sama od sebe da se desi. Mora čovek da joj pomogne.
Pošumljavanje je jedan dugotrajan proces i on traži ulaganje novca u sadnice, prvo u sadnice, u rasadnike, i to sve, ajde kažem, košta, mislim sa njihovog aspekta, dok je seča šuma brz novac.
Forests, vital for life and environment, sustain us with oxygen for decades. If we all pull our weight, we can protect our forests and our future.
Let's cross now to Podgorica. Azra Vukovic is a biologist and the executive director at NGO Green Home. Azra, great to have you with us on this such an important topic. What do you see as the biggest threat to the forested region of the Balkans?
Well, thank you for inviting me. The biggest threat definitely is illegal activities, which are for sure the main issue in the forests. This is something which is not happening only in Montenegro, it is happening in the whole Balkan region, and it is definitely one of the main factors of forest loss. Furthermore, forest fires are definitely a huge issue, especially with the growing climate change crisis, since our countries are not prepared for the fire suppression. In last several years, we have been working a lot in the raising awareness of the needs to do the fire prevention, because it is one of the main ways to protect fires to protect forests from fires, having in mind that we are definitely not prepared for the fire suppression.
If these negative trends continue, what are your prognoses for the future? Not just Montenegro. Montenegro is doing well. It's still at 60%, if I'm not mistaken, but of the future of the region in general when it comes to its forests.
Well, the future of the region in general, when we are speaking about forests, is that we are not doing well. And we are going to lose a huge amount under the forest, because it is bad management is something which is going on in the whole region. And having this in mind, it means that we do not protect our forests well from fires, but also we do not protect our forests well from the illegal activities. With the loss of this ecosystem, we actually contribute to the climate change, and we actually contribute to the bad status of our environment, of our biodiversity, and of our condition in general.
So what do you see as the solution for this? Can these countries, one of the most forested countries in Europe, unite and do something together in order to prevent these grim prognoses?
Well, starting from Montenegro. Montenegro is, according to our constitution, it is ecological state. It has self-declared as an ecological state. But we are not really doing enough in the terms of forest protection. We have a lot of illegal activities in our forests. We have recognized the problem in the system with concessions that is happening in Montenegro in the last 20 years and more. And now we are starting to try to find a way out in the terms of defining the system which is better for our forest management. Unfortunately, we are so slow in defining how to proceed further with this situation, and we are losing time and losing our forests at the same time. In the region, we do need first of all, better understanding how important forest ecosystems are in the terms of the biodiversity, in the terms of the air protection, in the terms of the climate change. And we need to move further in defining the ways how to protect them. This would mean that we need to establish the good management system, first of all, in Montenegro, since I'm speaking from Montenegro, and further, of course, in other Balkan countries because we do not have a good situation here.
And tell me, what is specific for the forests in the Balkans? Is there something that makes them unique?
Well, in Montenegro we have, as you said, around 60% of the territory which is covered with forests. Unfortunately, the percentage of these forests in protected area is smaller. It is around 5-6%. And this means that this percentage of forest is under national parks, which are protected. We also have, for example, in Montenegro, medieval forests in Biogradska Gora that are ancient forests that should definitely be protected for the future period. And in Balkans in general, we have forests which are medieval, which are very attractive in the terms of also some ecosystem services, for example, ecotourism. But the thing is that we are not really using them properly, and we are using them in one very simple way, which means cutting and using that wood as for heating, for small productions, but we do not really create additional ecosystem values of these forests.
Azra Vukovic, a pleasure to talk to you. Unfortunately, when we think of the Balkans, we think of the forests. And as you mentioned, if we don't do something soon, we might lose this amazing treasure that we have. Thank you again for speaking to us. Now, Kosovo also faces the problem of illegal deforestation, where thousands of acres of forest are destroyed every year because of illegal logging and wildfires. But a group of environmentalists has found a simple solution to reforest even the most inaccessible areas. As Adam Amunu tells us, perhaps the key to addressing this issue lies not only on the ground, but also in the skies.
This one-of-a-kind drone will soon be up and away outside Kosovo's capital. The mission is not to capture a scene from above, but to redefine the landscape below. This mission involves loading drones with linden and pine seeds. Why, you might ask?
Na momentalisht jemi në Butovc, në një region që siç po shihni ka bukuri me të vërtet natyrore. Dhe jemi këtu me qëllim për demonstrimin e mbjelljes së këtyre topthave nëpërmjet teknologjisë më inovative të dronit. Do të thonë, arsyeja pse jemi këtu është për me demonstru se si mund të përdorim teknologjitë më të reja për me pyllëzu Kosovën në mënyrë sa më shpejtë dhe efikase.
Illegal logging and wildfires are destroying some of Kosovo's most prized forests. A study by the non-profit organisation Sustainability Leadership Kosovo, which is leading the project, says the Balkan country loses more than 700 hectares of forest annually. This drone technology offers hope for their restoration, a process which is said to be 5 times faster than planting by hand.
The benefits of such technology is that we can plant on remote areas, so especially in areas where there was disasters such as fires or floods, where even firefighters had difficulties coming on the terrain. This is where we have our advantage. So we can plant on any terrain, but especially the ones that are non-accessible for human hands, yes.
Each drone can plant about 2.5 acres in 2 hours and needs between 2,000 to 5,000 seed balls. This makes it an attractive tool for international geological companies and groups who are tackling deforestation too, like in Croatia and Brazil. The United Nations Environment Programme estimates that woodland the size of Portugal is lost globally every year. And with forests at the heart of the fight against the climate crisis, these seed drones could help rewrite the narrative of environmental devastation in a much greater way. Adam Amunu, Across the Balkans.
The project to build the Buk Bijela hydropower plant on the Drina River has long been disputed on environmental grounds by neighboring Montenegro. Construction began during the war in former Yugoslavia decades ago, but stalled until Bosnian Serb entity Republika Srpska and Serbia resumed building it in 2021. Montenegro claimed the plant would harm the Durmitor National Park and Tara River, which are both under the protection of UNESCO. Mirjana Miladinovic has more from Podgorica.
This is Drina River, a border between Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Montenegro. Here is where the construction of the Buk Bijela hydroelectric power plant project started in 1956.
Prije rata je početa da se gradi, nije sagrađena.
It's because back then the former Yugoslav republics couldn't agree on how to build this plant. The project was stalled until 2020, when the Bosnian entity Republika Srpska signed an agreement with Serbia for the joint construction of 3 such plants. The project was estimated to cost $250 million and was projected to be completed in 4 years.
I ja se nadam da je zbog toga i ovo novi početak i u odnosima Srbije i Srpske, ali i u odnosima cijelog regiona.
This has prompted strong reaction from Montenegro. Its consent was needed for the project to go ahead, but the country's parliament voted against it after assessing its potential adverse effect on the environment. The site of the plant is also near the Durmitor National Park and Tara River, protected by UNESCO.
Jedino što tražimo jesu validna naučna mišljenja i stavovi da li taj projekat ugrožava Crnu Goru, odnosno nacionalni park Durmitor, ako govorimo o Buk Bijela. Ako ne ugrožava, apsolutno u Crnoj Gori nećete imati problem.
We went there to speak to residents. They are resolute. They say Montenegro should not agree to go ahead with the plant.
Ako bi se to desilo, neka od najljepših mjesta u Crnoj Gori definitivno bi nestala. Veliki udar bi bio siguran, ali ovo je ogromni potencijal. Svaki dan ovdje bukvalno mi radimo i sa strancima i ovako i njihov sam taj izraz lica kad dođu ovdje, kad vide to neku netaknutu prirodu koja Tara pruža, naravno, i svi su nekako i bez riječi.
Deberían de buscar otra manera porque el mundo no es de nosotros. Todo esto que vemos aquí no es de nosotros. Estamos cohabitando con los animales. Si vienen a romper, a hacer energía aquí, están quitándole el derecho de la tierra de ser parte, para nosotros, para la tierra. Y contaminación no se necesita en esta parte. Hay muchos lugares que ya están contaminados y pueden usar parte de esos lugares o parte de los lugares donde no está tan bonito como aquí.
UNESCO has called on Bosnia and Herzegovina to assess the potential negative effect the plant would have on the Durmitor National Park and Tara River, which the locals say is their only hope, international protection.
Jedina nada nam je taj UNESCO koji sve to zabranjuje. Tara sama, kanjon njen je dio nacionalnog parka, što isto ohrabruje da se neće desiti. Iskreno mislimo da se neće desiti, ali u jednu ruku ne znam kako bi vam rekao. Znači, svi bi patili. Svi.
Republika Srpska and Serbia both claim there wouldn't be any adverse effect on the protected area, but the appearance of the coastal area would be significantly altered.
This area will be minimum 50 meters underwater, and the sandy, natural beaches will be gone.
Here, on the other side of the border, in the Bosnian city of Foča, people have a different opinion about the project. They say they have been waiting for over 70 years for this. It's their only hope for a better life.
Jer bilo bi zaposlenost u gradu, onda to bi bio i korist za grad sama. Givno bi grad po svim mogućim od trgovine pa nadalje.
We tried to visit the construction site to see what has been done so far. But we couldn't enter as we were told filming is forbidden.
Dobar dan. Kako ste? Mi snimamo priču o Buk Bijeloj za TRT, pa smo htjeli da vidimo smijemo li snimiti malo ili ne?
Ne smijete.
Ne, jel?
Ne smijete, zabranjeno je.
Jel?
Jeste imate tu, znak.
A smije li neki drugi dio? Smije li onaj gornji? Ne, jel?
Ne smijete, ne smijete.
Further than that, we couldn't go.
The foundation stone for the Buk Bijela hydroelectric plant was laid in mid-2021. However, apart from the foundation stone, not much has been done since then due to the disputes that followed.
And Montenegro's environmental concerns are just part of the issue. The decision on the project has not been made on Bosnia's state level, but on the entity level.
Za ovako velik projekat potrebno je bilo da je koncesija dodijeljena od strane Komisije za koncesije na nivou Bosne i Hercegovine.
Bosnia's constitutional court ruled rivers belong to the state, not entities, and has ordered the commission to solve the issue. However, a few hundred meters down, construction is already underway on what officials claim is the accommodation for workers. It looks like a solid construction with beautiful architecture and tennis courts. The NGO sectors and local residents say it does not look like a temporary structure, but more like a small compound that is here to stay. Mirjana Mladinović, TRT World, Podgorica, Montenegro.
That's it for this week. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.